welcome back to Ben's Machines. Today I have my wood splitter in the garage. Let's get working on it. The wood splitter right now is almost complete. The next step I need to do is to install my hydraulic ram. This is the hydraulic cylinder that extends in and out, and it pushes this head, and of course the log goes here and then it gets split by this piece right here. So let me go get the ram and we'll get it installed and we'll plumb it up. Alright, so here's my brand new hydraulic cylinder. It's right down here. I want to make sure this end is up, in the up position, and then I slide it into this carrier. It slides in like this, and then this part here bolts onto the end of the hydraulic ram. So what I need to do is I need to rotate the ram so that I can get a 1/4 inch bolt to attach the head to here. So I'm just taking a sacrificial bolt. I'm just going to put it in here. I don't want the outer casing to turn, I just want the ram to turn. And it looks like I'm bending the bolt in the process. Alright, so instead of using a bolt, I'm just going to use a screwdriver. I put it inside. It just happens to fit perfectly in here, like this. I'm going to hang on to the outer part of the cylinder. I'm just going to turn the ram so that the ram itself, or the openings, are horizontal. So I think that's about right. Okay, and then let's see if I just lift up on the ram a little bit. Perfect. Okay, so now I got a 1/4 inch bolt, and I'm just gonna put that in here on this side like this. Then I have another washer, and a nut on this side. Okay. Then just 2 7/16 wrenches, and I'll just tighten this up. All right, there you go. So that was easy. So now my pusher block is in. The next step we're going to do is I need to find a way to secure the ram in its housing, or in its cradle. So by design, when the ram is pushing or working, it's pushing back against these two half pieces. There's one on the top and one on the bottom. And it's pushing against this welded piece here on the ram. But when you retract, there's nothing to hold the ram from sliding out like this. Can you see this? I can move the ram in. I can move the ram out, or I can move the whole cylinder out. So I'm going to take advantage of these holes if you can see, there's a hole here and there's a hole on this side. I'm gonna try to, there's another hole right here. I'm gonna try to come up with a solution just to kind of wedge the cylinder in place. So this is what I have in mind. So I basically am going to repurpose this. This is a solid rod with just a little plate welded on the end of it. I just repurposed this off of something that I had in my scrap metal. So I'm thinking what I'll do is that I will open up this through hole right here where I'm pointing. I'll open up this hole, slide that bolt in, or this rod in place, and then once it's all the way in, I'll drill another hole and just put a bolt to hold this in place like this. And I think that should just be enough to give me the amount of support I need. And look at the length here. So when this is in place, this is protruding out by about a quarter of an inch, so that's perfect. Okay, so let's get started, and I will open up these two holes to accept this diameter. So let's get to it. Want to see if that's going to be the size. It's probably going to be the next one, so I have to get this all the way in. Whoop. Let's try a different approach. Let's use an actual drill bit. That's not going to work. Never mind. We're just going to keep going on with this. Okay. Okay, so we're going to continue to work on the wood splitter. We need to make drill holes in this plate 5 and an 8. So, in order to do that, originally I was using these step drills, and for the most part it worked okay, but then after a while they got dull and they stopped cutting. So I'm gonna finish the job, and I went and I bought a proper drill bit here from the hardware store. It took a couple of days to get in, and with curbside pickup, you know, here we are now finishing the job. Okay, brand new 5/8 drill, so let's go over and finish cutting the hole. So I have this hole cut to size. Let me show you what I mean. This is the retainer pin that's going to go in. As you can see, that fits in there already. Now I just need to finish this side, and like I said, the step drill got so worn out that I just wasn't able to drill it anymore. So let's just finish it off with this. Okay, so just like that, that's done. So this slides in like this, and okay, I guess it's still a little bit tight, so let me try to clean it out a little bit more with the drill bit, carefully. Okay, so we'll get that in. And then with the hammer, let's see if I use a hammer that will get in there. Okay, so I'll just give it a tap. That's perfect. So I like the fact that this pin is going to be tight. I'll grab a bigger hammer. So I have the locating pin in place. The locating pin is going to hopefully keep the hydraulic cylinder in the right alignment that I want. So now the next thing to do is to drill a hole so that we can install a locating bolt. So I think it's just going to be a 1/4 inch bolt. I'm going to put in here, and that will keep the pin from moving, or will keep the pin in place. So I'm just going to get this. I'm going to get this situated more or less in the middle. Okay, so I'd say that looks pretty good. Just put a pair of vice grips on here. Okay. And now what I'll do is I'll cut this hole. Okay, I'm going to center punch a hole so that the drill bit can start. Okay, so that center punch, and now I'll get my drill bits and we'll start cutting the hole. Oh, must be getting close. Okay, so the idea here, what I'm doing is I'm just going to drill this hole to 1/4 inch, and like we did for the 5/8 hole, I'm going to continue drilling this hole in a progressive way. So we're going to start with a small drill bit, and we're going to work way up to the drill bit size in order to accommodate this bolt that's just in there, just to locate the pin, okay? Just to keep the pin from vibrating loose or vibrating out of its spots. Okay, so let's just test to see if this, perfect, that's the right size. Thread this nut on. Bingo. There you have it. This is what I wanted to accomplish here. I don't want to mushroom the end, so I'm just going to use a punch and just punch this out. So I slide this in. I'll grab the cylinder, lift up, pull out, and then just hopefully get this in spot. So I'll just get this more or less in its position. I'll lift up on the ram a bit and just tap. Tap my pin in, bring it down, and as you can see now, this is this pin is now allowing, or it's now supporting the ram, and it's keeping the ram more or less horizontal with the bed. So I like that. I like how that looks. So let's install our retaining bolt here, and we'll keep going. I've been waiting so long to get to this stage, so in my head I knew how to undertake this work, but what I've been waiting on is the availability of the parts. So okay, so now I have my locating pin in place and my retainer bolt that keeps it locked in. I'll come back in after, and I'll put some black paint on this so it doesn't rust. The next thing I'm going to do is connect my hydraulic lines. So let me show you what I'm talking about over here on the workbench. So right here on the workbench, I have two brand new hydraulic lines. Because we're dealing with a wood splitter and hydraulic oil pressure, I wanted to make sure that, because this is a repair job, I wanted to make sure that on the pressurized side, all my lines were brand new, so that at least I don't get this far into the project, start using it, and then I have a hydraulic hose that fails, right? Because it's rusted, or it's 40 years old and it's decomposed. So I splurged and I bought new lines. And I also bought a 90-degree fitting like this to lessen the amount of bends in this line. So I guess the very first thing we're going to do now is we're going to install this fitting here on the end of the cylinder. I believe I have already applied some anti-seize paste on here. So let's go over and install it on the hydraulic ram. This is the end of the hydraulic cylinder. This is going to be one of the two pressurized sides. This is the side where all the work is being done, right? Because the ram is being pressed outwards. Therefore, we want to make sure that everything is in really good shape on this side. So because this is a completely rebuilt cylinder, there's a little plastic piece here inside, and that's just to keep any debris or garbage out of the ram itself. So see what I mean? And now what I'm going to do is just install this 90-degree hydraulic fitting on the end here. So I'll just start by putting this on by hand. And then I'll go get my wrench and I'll put that in. Okay, so I have my 90-degree fitting in place. Next, I'll just put some anti-seize on this fitting, or this end of the pipe, and on this end. So because this fitting has a collar here, that will make it very easy for me to finish the installation of this hose on this end. So what that means, I'm going to install the pressurized line in this fitting first. So I'll line it up and just thread that on like that. Okay, and then take my adjustable wrench. Actually, is that 7/8? It is. Perfect. And I'll just give that a couple of turns. I'm just using common sense here. That's good there. And now, have a look at this, folks. See this? Do you see the end of this hydraulic line? See how there's a chamfer on this? Well, there's a mating piece or part in the end of this 90-degree fitting, that sits nicely inside that chamfer, making a nice complete seal. Okay, so now I'll just bring this in like this. Turn the collar. Okay. You see how this hose is going this way, and then my fitting is there. I think in order to relieve some of the strain on this end of the hose, I'm just going to rotate this fitting. I'll just rotate it so that this is better in line. So to do that, maybe I'll just I'll try using my channel locks, see if this will work. All I want to do is try to lessen the angle on that. So need to get something better. Good old-fashioned pipe wrench. There. So now, as you can see, I turned this fitting. I think I might have turned it just a little bit too much. So now, if I back this off a bit, now my hydraulic, see, that looks good there like that. See, now there's not as much strain on this hose. I'll use both my wrench to hold the line in place, because I don't want the line to spin, and then I'll use my adjustable wrench just to tighten the collar here. There you go. Okay, so that side's done. When I move the selector arm out this way, the pressurized hydraulic fluid from the pump is going to send fluid out through this line onto this side, and then we should see the hydraulic ram extend out. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to install the other hydraulic line so that the return, so when I go in this position, I'm asking for the fluid to go onto this side of the ram to bring the hydraulic ram back in. So similarly to that end, we're going to do this end. Here's the port where the hydraulic line will connect into. So I'll just remove similarly I'll remove this cap. That goes in here like this. That's good. Now I'm going to put this 90-degree elbow, and this elbow has a hydraulic fitting in place. So remember when we were talking about the chamfer? Here's an example of what I was referring to. Here's the male part of the chamfer of that fitting, and if you look inside here, hopefully the camera can pick this up. There's the female part of that chamfer. So when you make the connections here and you turn this rotating sleeve, what that does is that it draws this part of the fitting inward so that those two chamfers, they mate against one another, and with the proper torque on this collar, you get a nice tight seal. Okay? So you'll see I need to install this up here on the pipe, and then already I have the hydraulic fitting in place right here where this 90-degree elbow is. Okay, so I'll set this here. You want to make sure your threads are nice and clean when you do this, so that there's no interference, or there's no reason, you know, your threads don't get damaged in the process of putting them together. So I just put some paste on there just to keep things from seizing up or rusting up, just in case I have to come back and do work on this. At least I won't have to deal with rusted up joints or connections, I hope, at least. So obviously I don't want my hydraulic fitting in this position. I want it somewhere over here. Just rotate this around. Say probably right there. You don't want to get the anti-seize paste in the flow of the fluid, just on the threads. Now, I might have had this hydraulic line made up a little bit too long, because really this goes here. In the end, I'm not too concerned, because as you'll see here, I can get this situated in a position where it shouldn't interfere with the work area, which is going to be over here. But I want to be mindful that I don't want the lines to rub, because if they find a place where they can rub, maybe they'll wear out. So I think this should be fine here. So let's try it here. Then torque that. That's good. Do this one. And that's good. So it's possible that I may have to come back and tighten some of these connectors. Well, we may only know if we have any leaks when we run this and we see, we start using it and the whole system gets pressurized. That might uncover some leaks, but for now, as you saw, I have all my connections, tight. Let's give this a try.